Yeah, this is the second phase of our series today. We just finished one, and certainly he's going to come back because he's still loaded with quite a lot of things he wants to share with us. Now we have Mr. Ilo online. So he's joining us shortly. He's an on-air personality. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm great. Good afternoon.
It's been a back-to-back series for me. We just ended one, so we're sorry we're starting like 2 minutes behind.
Yeah, no, it's
so
all right.
Mr. Ilo in the building.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm so excited to know you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for accepting this invitation.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, everyone. We have Mr. Ilo. He's loaded. You know, he's an on-air personality. He's going to tell us more about himself. I know he's loaded, so our line to blow his trumpet a bit.
Yes, obviously. My name is Iloise.
Okay.
Yeah, short form is Ilo because Iloise is hard for people to pronounce.
Yes.
I've been in media since 2011, so that'll be what, 9 years now.
Yeah, that's quite a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm currently working as a producer now. I'm still into broadcasting. I did study film and television production extensively, so obviously, you know, I try my best to get involved with every part of media because media is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful tools to
It is. You know, they say if you are not properly informed, you will be deformed. So information is important. You must know the right thing.
Yeah, it's
you
key.
must be at the right time. Knowing is key for your survival. I mean to say.
Yeah. What's weird is how we don't even to be honest, in this part of the world, here in Nigeria, or without even saying Africa as a whole, we don't even use media to like its full potential. Like we don't even use it enough. Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet. I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
All right. So the topic today, is the role of media in the new world, because we live in a new world. All right. Things have changed forever, and I'm trying to adjust this stuff.
Oh, okay.
All right. So things have changed. We're in a new world, and we just have to accept our reality.
Yeah.
So the subject of discourse that you will be broaching on today is the role of media in our new world. So we're all ears.
Yeah. So quite honestly, there's different ways to look at it, right? I think the first thing is we should establish what the new world is. So if we're saying what the new world, what exactly we're talking about as a new world? Are we talking about this current situation we're in because of this global pandemic, or are we talking about the new century that we came into in 2020? Because you know, we almost have forgotten that we're actually in a new century.
That's true. So true. So correct. I've forgotten.
Yeah, like
I have forgotten. So we've all been, you know, buried in this pandemic kind of stuff in awareness.
Yeah, we've been overwhelmed with this whole pandemic. So, but yeah, so obviously, whichever way we decide to look at it, if we're looking at it as a new century, if you're looking at it as because of the global pandemic, the fact remains that media is still the reason why a lot of people are sane, to be honest. Media in different ways, social media as per social media applications, media as per news outlets that help us to stay informed and help us to keep up to date with events that are happening, that spread awareness, that spread information. Just like you said, if you're not informed, you're deformed. So the role of media in the new world is vast. It's beyond, like it's too big. It's too grand to be ignored. And the truth at the end of the day is what people fail to realize is the media you consume literally builds the kind of mentality you end up having. And so it's important to note, because you find that a lot of, would I say, the youths of like now, a lot of us, we are not very careful about the kind of things we consume on the media. We open ourselves to all sorts, and then we start to have opinions that we didn't even know were a part of our lives. We start to have, we start to say the kind of things that on a normal day, you check yourself and you're like, well, on a normal day, I wouldn't say something like this, but it's a subconscious thing. Based on what you have consumed, your brain puts it together and starts to like churn out basically what you have inside you, because you can't give what you don't have. So it's what you have that you give, right? So it's also very important to note that based on the vast number of exposure, or the vast kind of exposure you get, the vast number of people on social media and the kind of exposure you get from social media and the media in general, it's also very important to note that the media doesn't just serve as a tool for information. It also serves as a tool for networking and a tool for connectivity and a tool for even like building careers and building. I mean, it's through the media that some people are doing part-time courses in Harvard at the moment, like because Harvard is doing this part-time course, free courses thing, and like there are people who have had a chance. Like right now, it's open. Like there's links to it where you can literally just get a chance to do a part-time course in something you're interested in, right? So it's very important to just note that the media is vast, is big, is wide, but it's also key to stepping your life up. I'm someone who years ago I wasn't very big on media or social media. Let me use that, social media. And I just thought it's not my thing. But then you start to realize that wait, it's not just because there's this bad light we try to paint social media with. But then you realize that it's not just that bad side to it. There's actually good things you can do with it. There's things you can benefit from social media. There's things that you can get out of it. There's ways you can benefit your life from social media. So yeah, the role of media in the new world is vast. It's too big to quantify, to be honest. It's too big because we're literally in a digital age now. Everything is literally just like from your phone.
All right. Okay. So it's vast. It's huge. Some of us we don't know. So we have to read. All right. So while we're waiting for Mr. Ilo to reconnect with us. So you can type in your questions. All right. It should be back on shortly.
Yeah, sorry.
All right.
I think there was a network problem right there.
Yes,
Sorry about that.
yes, yeah. So, how do we?
Hi, Robbie.
Yes. Okay, so Mr. Ilo,
Yeah.
you've told us that the what we can benefit from the media at this time is huge. So some of us do not know, which is what informed this discussion in the first place.
Yeah.
So can you share a few things, with us?
One of the things I had mentioned earlier was how obviously if you're consuming the right content, or like if you're open to the right channels, you get access to obviously knowing that there's courses from like a lot of universities are making courses online now that's like exposed, like open to everyone from every part of the world. There's an app called edX, which basically gives you access to free education. So you can do that. You can bag yourself a degree, and it's verified. It's a verified degree that you can use in the future when all this pandemic is over, right? So that's very important. You can also as well use the media to promote. If you have businesses, if you have something that you're doing, you can use it as well to sort of like promote your business, promote yourself. And it's also a means to gather knowledge, gather skills. You know, a lot of people tend to find excuses. Oh, I want to learn this thing, or I want to do this thing. I don't know how. I'm looking for somebody that will teach me. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's great to have human interaction and have like people that can teach you. But I'll tell you this, I signed up for this school called Shaw Academy. They were doing this course thing. So I signed up for it and literally learned, I'm in the process of learning graphic design from an online school, from an app, actually. Yeah, graphic design. And that's a talent that, or that's a skill that I've never had. So obviously I'm bettering myself. So in this time of, you know, this global pandemic that's going on, you can actually better yourself by acquiring skills that you never know when you would need it. You never know when you need it.
Because let me say this also. I just recall that my wife learned how to cut fabric online. And that was 2 years ago or thereabout.
Yeah.
And from what she learned online, she was able to put a tailor through some certain new, you know,
like,
new ways
look
of
at
living.
That. Can you imagine? Yeah. So like obviously the world is growing more and more digital. So it'll be a sad loss if we refuse to grow with it. Because the truth at the end of the day is that the world will not stop growing. It will continue to grow. The media will continue to expand. Its reach will continue to go farther. Because why? Technology is on the rise. And because technology is on the rise, the quickest means to expose technology to the entire population of the universe is via the media. Radio, TV, print, you know, whatever kind of media. Do you understand? That's the quickest way to expose technology to the vast world at large. You understand? There are places that never even had all this technology, but gradually they're being conquered. Islands that people didn't even used to interact with the people there, but gradually, little by little, they're being exposed to the rest of the earth, and all these places are being conquered by technology. So it'll be sad if we, in this part of the world, sort of remove ourselves or only use the media for mediocre things, because it gives you way more than you know. I took a course in Google. Google had this course where they basically teach you digital marketing, right? And then when you're done, they give you a certificate for it. And what I learned from this was actually how to build a brand, market that brand, and the steps to take using social media to actually have organic growth. You understand? And then like we know that there are people that literally you pay thousands of naira to do this for your business, because not everybody can do it, right? So imagine if you're someone who has that kind of interest, you can work from home. You don't have to even worry about quarantine or like lockdown. You can work from home. You literally, if someone who wants to grow their business reaches out to you and says, look, I have this business, I'm trying to grow it, I don't know how to go about it. And because you have that knowledge, you have that power, you can tell them, okay, you know what, this is this and this and this is what I need, this is what I'll charge you. And from the comfort of your home, build somebody's business and help them with organic growth and like literally make a career out of it for yourself. So there's different ways that we can benefit from the media. There's different ways that we can thrive from the media. There's different things that it can give to us. And there's different ways to use it, because a lot of us spend our time on social media just consuming content that will rot our brains, to be honest. Like
I'm coming to that, you know, because in course it has a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
But also you have the other side of it, you know.
Yeah.
You know, it can be easily distracted online.
Yeah.
So what would be your advice? You know, how can we, you know, help ourselves against being distracted? Is it a thing of the mind, or just, you know, from your experience, you should be able to, you know, help us out on that?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, just like you said, it's actually a thing of the mind, right? And it takes discipline, because the truth about media, social media or any kind of media is very addictive. It's extremely addictive.
Yeah.
So if you find that you've sort of been, I know I have this addiction to YouTube. You understand? YouTube is my thing. Like I literally get sucked into the wormhole of YouTube, and I'm just there for hours. So what I realized,
and you have a lot of adverts on YouTube these days.
There's so much content to consume off YouTube, like too many content to consume. So it's easy to just get sucked up in there, right? So what I do is I give myself a time limit. It's literally what I do. I have a
Right.
time. I have a mental time limit that I've given myself, and it's easier said than done. But consistency brings discipline, right? So I've given myself a time limit, and because I've given myself that time limit, when I realize that okay, well, once 1 hour is starting to, it's like my time on YouTube is starting to exceed an hour. Okay, that bell in my brain just starts to ring, and I just put my phone down.
Other thing that I want you to talk about is the sometimes, you know, maybe on Twitter, on Instagram, or these, you know, platforms and all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe because he doesn't really have a face, like physically you can see the person right in front of you. People have developed some level of boldness that the way they will address the person, if the person were to be standing in front of them,
Twitter fingers.
And when you look at some of those things, you realize that some of the things that some people say online are things that can send them to jail in the future,
Yes.
or something that can also deter them, because now things are online. Your life information is practically online. People can easily verify your behavior.
Yeah.
You know, usually what you say, because the Bible says, as a man is so, as your heart is, you say what is on your mind, just like what you said. So the content of what you say or what you profess defines who you are.
Yeah.
So how do we help ourselves here so that we don't run into problem in the future when somebody is trying to do a profile, somebody is trying to profile you and realize that, oh, you've said this, you've said this, you've said this, you've said that and all of that in the past. And this is
to be honest, that is a very big problem that we have in this day and age. But at the end of the day, it still is a personal problem. Do you understand? Because to be honest, when you don't have a certain kind of moral guideline as a human being that puts you on a path to kindness in your speech or thoughts in the things you say, right?
Ooh. Network again. Still waiting for him. I don't. We're having some network issues here and trying to get him back online. All right, he should be with us shortly. Sorry about that. Yeah, he's just saying his apologies now.
Sorry,
All right.
sorry. The network is just, I don't know. It keeps
I'm sure we just
fluctuating.
have to make do with whatever what we have. So
Yeah, apologies for
I'm sure
that.
everybody
Yeah,
understands. We run into this problem every now and then.
yeah, so what I was saying, yeah, so at the end of the day, to be able to keep a would I say a disciplined approach to social media, you need to actually have some level of moral discipline and some level of moral guidance. I always say this is my thing. Think. And I break down think into the 5 parts. Obviously, T. And T is what I'm about to say, is it thoughtful? So before I comment on anything, is my comment thoughtful? Like, is this what I'm writing right now? Is it thoughtful? H, is it helpful? The person who's going to read this comment, are they going to find help in it? Or is it going to be something that they read and it agitates them or triggers something in them and then it turns to something else? I, is it intelligent? a lot of us just say dumb things on social media. Like, people just come and comment the dumbest things ever. Like,
That's
it has to
hard.
be intelligent.
That's very hard. Like,
You understand? And then, so yeah, so you have thoughtful, you have helpful, you have intelligent. N is necessary. Is it necessary? Some things we say, some comments we drop, they're not even like they're of zero necessity. Like, you have no reason to comment that or no reason to write what you just wrote, but you wrote it simply because you just can. And sometimes it's not because you don't just do things because you can. Sometimes it's like you have to think through it. Is it thoughtful? Is it helpful? Is it intelligent? Is it necessary? And then lastly, is it kind? Because we're in the era where everybody wants to be a savage. Everybody wants to say something savage. Everybody wants to, prove that they have savage responses. So we forget to be kind to one another. We forget that at the end of the day, the same blood that's running through your veins, the same blood that's running through this person's veins that you're sending this message to. So really and truly, we're all one on this planet. But
right now,
we forget that. And in that instance, we just want to say something mean and spiteful. It's like, it has to be kind. It has to be thoughtful. It has to be helpful. It has to be intelligent. It has to be necessary. And it has to be kind. If it doesn't fall under any of these categories, don't comment.
So, meaning that in this new world we are now, it's easier to do a background check. Just go on somebody's, because I realized at some point, some countries, they will request that you put your social media handle on your form if you're applying for a visa.
Yeah, so that they can screen you and check you out and find out what's going on with you. Yeah,
that informs the role for social media in today's world, really.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm listening.
So meaning that what we say now is also very important as to the benefit we get in the future in some regard.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, we forget that even though you have freedom to speak and you have freedom to do certain things, it also needs to be guided by some level of, discipline, morality, sense behind it. Because last, at the end of the day, you see that thing that you're saying, it can be held against you. It can be held against you. And that's what people tend to forget. I remember I saw this, I think it was a fact. It wasn't either a fact or a tweet. And it said that the CIA checks the tweets of Americans daily. Literally, just like there is a setup where a part of the CIA in America just watches the tweets of Americans. Just like just surfing through just their tweets and just seeing everything. It's like, do you understand that kind of situation? So there are things that you can say. You can tweet something about terrorism out of ignorance and just out of, I want to be funny on Twitter, and tweet something about terrorism, and it can haunt you in the future. So it's very, very important to just be careful what we say on social media, what we let social media make us into. Because you find that some people actually have a kind of lifestyle they like to live, but then they encounter social media, or they encounter the media in general, and it starts to mold them into something that they're not, or something that they don't even want to become, but they don't even realize that they're gradually drifting towards a side of them that is not true to who they are. So based off of what they see, what they hear, what they perceive. I remember, I think it was either Leviticus or Deuteronomy, correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor, where God was talking about the kind of media that the children of Israel will consume. And he said, if this media is not from me directly, remove it. Like, remove completely. Because he knew that my children need to hear things from me directly. If they don't hear things from me directly, it'll be detrimental to their future. If they hear things from other sources that would take them away from me, it would be a big problem. And so he was like, look, if this media is not the prophets I put in place or the people I put in place, remove it. I don't want to have it. So it's the same thing with now, obviously, as to if the media that you're consuming is not something that's going to better your life, it's not something that's going to improve you, it's not something that's going to make you grow. If it's something that as you consume it, it consumes you in return. If it's something that as you allow, into your space and into your mind, you start to find yourself thinking about things you shouldn't be thinking about, start battling depression because you're seeing people flaunt things on social media and it's affecting you, and you're thinking how you can be like this person or how you can be like that person or how you can, like, once you start letting all these things cloud your sense of judgment, it's time to actually take a break and find something else that you can do with social media.
Does that also inform the kind of following, the kind of people you follow?
Of
Because
course,
I am not going to follow some people. Obviously, I know that one. Not everybody evil. I mean, I know some people I
it's
cannot
very
follow.
important because, like, at the end of the day, the people you follow are the people that bring the things you see on your timeline. So when you follow people who would, you know, necessarily put like, and that's the thing that people tend to forget is, like, people will be who they are on social media. Do you understand? Like, you can't stop somebody from doing what they want to do, but you can stop yourself from letting that get to you by deciding not to follow that person. If
That's very profound, very deep.
Yeah, because, like, if this thing that this
Don't
person will post will be offensive to you or will make you feel some type of way, don't even follow them. Just go and follow. It's not by force. At the end of the day, because you can't stop them from posting what they want to post. You can't stop them from saying what they want to say. Just remove, like, take care of your own mental health. That's just very important. Very, very important.
Wow. 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 Another thing
Yeah.
is how do we then verify information that is real and the one that is not real? Because you have so much online right now. This fake, I don't want to use the word fake news, but you have quite a number of unverified information online that is detrimental to us, maybe to you personally as a person or to your business. How do we then, verify the things we hear?
For me, it's two things.
And sometimes these things could come from people that you trust so much.
I agree with that. When certain people who you expect to be, maybe you put some sort of, like, you know, regard for, share certain kind of things.
We're still waiting for him to join us, so please bear with us. Network is not very friendly today.
All right. So I don't know what I did to Airtel today. They are just acting up. Anyway, as I was saying, in response to your question about how to verify news and how to verify information, every bit of information shared across the world has a source. Every bit of information has a source. So at the end of the day, there are people whose jobs, they're professionals whose jobs is to ensure that that source is bringing out verified information. So if you have the time and the discipline, go and find that information from the source. If the source of that information is a verified source or is a reliable source, then take it as the right news. If it's not, then don't. If you know you don't have the discipline or the time or the patience to go and search for the right source, don't share it. The biggest problem with fake news is not that people put out fake news, is that fake news gets shared. That's the biggest problem. Because if someone sends me fake news, whether or not I verify it to know whether it's fake news or real news, because I just consume it. I'm like, in panic, I'll share it to like other people. That's how this. I don't know if you ever. I'm sure you've encountered it. This thing where people say, "Oh, a man found something," and then if you don't share this to 14 other followers, something will happen to you by the next morning. It's like what kind of nonsense?
That's one. There is another one. Maybe that's to do with money now. They will tell you follow this link and then you're going to win 5K or 10K or something like that. I don't know if they've sent you that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
before.
people send stuff, and it's just like, if that's just in my situation, that's just me. I'm like, I have, because I love research. Obviously, one of the courses I took in film school was research methodology. So I enjoy research. So when I find news or when I'm given news, I will take my time to go and research it and literally peel it off, search all the reliable sources. Hey, Victor, search all the reliable sources to ensure that news is tangible before I share it, right? And if I know that this news is not tangible, if I don't believe that this news is tangible or this thing is good enough, I don't bother sharing it. And just like I saw Tunde put a comment there. Tunde said, put a caveat when you're sharing, add the source you got it from. It's important as well for people who maybe want to go back to the source of the information. It's important to just put like some sort of disclaimer and just put that, okay, I got this news from this source, so that, all is fair. Because at the end of the day, it's important to know that whatever you're sharing, there are people who are going to take it literally. There's people who see some things and they're just like, they're dismissive. That's them talking. And then there's people who see it and panic. Like from what you say, like they will just be like, hey, they said this, so they said that. So this. I remember there was one news I was making rounds on WhatsApp. And someone said, "Oh, the vaccines that they're trying to find as a cure for corona. If they bring it here, they were going to use the vaccines to inject chips into our bodies and all that." And it was just making the rounds and like going around. We know that obviously that's fake. That's fake news. But the problem is it was being shared consistently across different social media platforms, and that's why it spread like that. I mean, sometimes it's good that these things are shared so that the right authorities can pick them up and deal with them. But also, I'm this kind of person who I hardly send broadcasts. I hardly send all these things because I'm like, if it's not verified, if I can't verify it, if I've not done my research enough to know that this is something that I can share, I don't share it. Hi, Maiwa.
All right. For example, if I'm into, I want to see how I want you to discuss how this affects this set of people.
Okay.
How media affects if I'm into book writing. Let's say I'm an author now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
How can media help in pushing to the people the thing that I do? Of course, we've talked about learning from the media and getting like there's a biblical training I'm doing right now in a school in the US. It's even free.
Yeah,
it's
most of them
training.
are free. Yeah.
And I have their course content. If I'm ready, I just log in and I attend the class that I want.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, they will give me a certificate or something. Maybe after, if I successfully finish after 2 years, because it's quite huge. So I'm just taking it one step after another. Anyway.
Okay, that's good.
Back to the question now.
Mm-hmm.
How can the media help, in pushing further my brand as an author?
As an author, okay.
Yes, or maybe I'm doing into intellectual stuff like
intellectual property,
storytelling, and stuff like that.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's the same way the media helps, say, companies that are into TV commercials, or there's always a platform where you can share what you have, your intellectual property, your content, right? So if say Instagram is not enough, you can post. There's Instagram. You can always take your book, post it on, get influencers or people who are into that kind of stuff to help you promote your book. Then you have what do you call them? Websites. Yes, websites that are specific to sort of taking on books and making them available for people to consume. Right? You have websites that you go to and you find all sorts of books on there. I think there's even something now called Google Library, because I remember I was looking for I read mangas a lot. So I was looking for like a particular kind of manga, and then I got involved in Google Library. And so basically there's Google Library, there's this one that Apple just put out. I'll remember the name when it comes back to me. I'll share it with you. Where you can post your books. You can actually, those things you've written, because obviously they're also digital. We're not just talking about like raw, like proper handwritten books. We're also talking about things that you typed, and they're virtual. So you take those
copies and all of that.
Yeah, and you put those copies online. There are websites where you can actually put copies online. Some you have to pay, some amount for to put your book on there, because people who will come there to access your book will actually buy it.
I'm coming. Right? I was about asking you that how cheap are they? Because some,
No, actually, you find that a lot of these platforms are actually quite affordable. Quite honestly, they're actually affordable. It's the same way you have SoundCloud for podcasters or people who are trying to push their music, right? You easily just put like you pay monthly for your SoundCloud, and you put your podcast or your music on there, and like the charge is not that big, and people can access your music from anywhere in the world. You can put it on Amazon. Thank you very much, Tunde, for even writing that. You can actually put it on Amazon.
Because people have a perception that because a lot of people, they have a perception that these things are they are expensive to do.
Expensive, yeah. And you see, that's the thing.
At the end of the day, is it the wrong perception?
Yes, it is. Because here's why. Because they actually haven't gone. They actually haven't gone to try. Do you understand? Like, it's different if you've actually gone, like you said, oh, I want to try and put my book online, and then check the price or check whatever it is and seal it, and then say, oh, it's expensive. But some people haven't even bothered. They just hear Amazon, or they just hear the name of the store. It's like, that place will be expensive. I can't put my book there. And it's like, no, like actually try. And you find that it's something it's affordable, and you can actually make money because people will come there to buy your books.
Now, to YouTube channel, how expensive is it to create one? You just have to be with us today. Network is just I will encourage us to, while we're trying to reconnect with him, just type in your questions now so we can take them. It will be with us shortly. So I will encourage us that if you have any question at all on the subject of discourse, which is the role of media in our new world, please type in your questions so that he can attend to them. All right. So I was asking you, Ilo.
Yeah.
How expensive? Because you just, earlier on in our discussion, I said, now you have, maybe it was in the previous discussion, I'm not sure anymore.
Okay.
But I said something like, recently my wife, she's been watching some YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was on here. And you said she learned
learning how to dance, the children learning dance steps and all of that. And all of those things are on YouTube channel anyway.
Yeah.
So
hey, Zara.
How expensive is it to actually create a YouTube channel? Is it going to cost someone something?
Nope.
It's free.
Yep, it's free. Creating a YouTube channel is free. It's not expensive. The problem with creating a YouTube channel, or should I say the task with it, is maintaining your channel. Okay. Right? So obviously you can go on your YouTube channel, and a lot of people don't even realize that you can actually monetize your YouTube channel. You find that there are tons of people who have YouTube channels and they don't even know that you can monetize it. Like they're not even aware that you can actually make money from the views and the comments and the likes you get on your YouTube channel, right? So creating a YouTube channel is absolutely free, right? Maintaining the YouTube channel is where the work comes in, because it takes discipline and consistency, and it's very important because whatever
That's
content you're
the
putting out.
that's the word, discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
In our discussion yesterday, David says something to us that, in fact, that was one of his opening statements. He said,
Okay.
"We are the new world we are now. The new normal is that mediocrity is no longer allowed. We are in a world of you have to do things and do it well."
Yeah.
So saying this to what you do now as per your social media or your media stuff means that you must be consistent and what's the second one you use?
And be disciplined.
And be disciplined.
Yeah. If you're going to make 2 posts a day, ensure that you are doing your 2 posts a day. If you're making 3 posts, ensure that you have a schedule. You have, if it's an alarm you have to set for yourself, ensure that you're actually keeping to it. Because if you're not consistent and you're not disciplined with like seeing through your post or seeing through whatever it is that you have to do, the problem is that you will eventually, it will dip. It will go up and it will dip. And the biggest problem is trying to bring yourself out of that place where it has dipped. You understand? And I know that some people get discouraged because, okay, you've opened a YouTube channel and maybe it's about 6 months and you're not getting enough likes, or you don't have enough subscribers and you feel bad. But the truth is that it is consistency that brings these things about. One of my favorite YouTubers, his name is MKBHD. He's a tech YouTuber because I love tech YouTube as well. He's a tech YouTuber. This guy started like way before YouTube even became as like super big now that it is, obviously. So like at the time when YouTube started,
because a lot of people are trying to catch up now anyway.
Yeah, but this guy started like he was so young. He was like such a small kid, and I think one of his very first videos was about some HP laptop that some HP system desktop or something that had just come out, and he went at it and he stayed consistent. His videos didn't really have views that time, but now he's one of the highest paid YouTubers around. He's one of the biggest on YouTube. He has one of the most subscribers. Like, do you understand? So consistency is key. You can't just build, and I think that's another problem we have with the youth of this generation. We want to put in something now and get in the result. Like now. And we forget that there is such a thing as the growth system. You don't just put in something now and get a result immediately. You need to follow growth. I mean, we have nature, and that is the best teacher, and we still don't learn from it. You don't plant something today and reap harvest tomorrow. If you plant corn,
even science doesn't allow us to do that.
Do you understand? You plant it, you water it, you consistently ensure that you are watching it.
You guide against predators.
Do you understand? You guide against pests. Like
you protect and defend.
Yeah. And literally just watch it grow. And then after a while, it grows and you benefit from it. But we seem to forget that there's that growth process. And we're just like, just put something and expect like return today. It's the same thing that applies to social media. The fact that it's technology doesn't make it any less different. So if you open a YouTube channel and you start to put content, don't worry, the content is there, it's not going anywhere. Be consistent and continue. Just continue. Sometimes all it takes is just one click from somebody, and the person just says, "Oh, I really like this content," and shares it, and that another person shares, and back to the same why sharing is good. Share it. Before you know, everybody has shared it. Before you know, your content has gone viral. Before you know, all those your videos, because you see these things there. One thing I realized about these things there, I don't know if fickle is the word, but they are so like it changes like that. And before you know, your videos that have 2 views or 3 views and maybe one comment,
and just 1 million one day,
literally just starts getting 1 million views, 2 million views. And because you have content on that page, when people come back to watch the video that went viral, they tend to want to see other contents that you have on that page. And so they will open your page and look at other videos. And before you know, those other videos will increase in views as well. But it takes discipline, it takes patience, and it takes consistency.
All right, let me just say this. For people that are into stuffs like maybe, I think I said it earlier on, maybe you're into fashion, you know how to sew, you know how to cut. There is something that is just unique about you that is different from the other person. just create something and teach people how to do stuff online, and just be consistent with it. And you know, you never can tell. It's about just trying. You just learn about pivoting and practical experimental marketing. That's something to try also.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, it's been an amazing time with you.
Thank you very much. This was good
I'm
talk. I
sure
really
we can
enjoyed
have this discussion on and on and on and on and on. But I'm sure we've spent quite a lot of time talking about this. It's close to an hour now that we've been
Yeah,
talking.
almost an hour. But like, this is good. This is good talk. I really enjoyed it.
There is something that I saw recently, maybe in response to one of the questions that I asked earlier on,
Okay.
you know, when you said, or maybe in response to what you were saying,
Okay.
when you asked a question that some people are not even aware. I'm aware, I know,
Okay.
I'm just trying to play, that some people are not aware that you can make money
From your YouTube.
on the need on, yes, which is a media now.
Yeah.
Yeah, medium kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how people can make money? How it happens now
Um.
when it comes to some.
Yeah. So obviously, you have to when you're opening your YouTube, there's an option to monetize it. Oh, how to navigate LinkedIn? LinkedIn is. We'll get to that. Um. There's an option to monetize your YouTube when you're opening the channel. You just have to be very very careful in like when you're going through it. There's
Questions are
tutorials.
coming in for you.
How do you handle low social media self-esteem? We'll get to that. So yeah, so ensure that you have that option on when you're opening your YouTube channel. There's tutorials on it, so you can go on YouTube and just click on how to monetize YouTube, and you find like the process, the step-by-step process, so that while you're creating your page, you are following the step-by-step process. And then when you do it, as you get views, as you get likes, also from your content timing. I know that contents that have 10 minutes and above tend to have adverts. YouTube puts adverts on it. So from the advert clicks, you also make money. From having subscribers, the amount of subscribers you have gets you money. The amount of views you have gets you money as well on YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, so sometimes the more views you have, the more money you make from it. And you don't even get paid in
Dollar, the most acceptable currency all over the world, so to speak. We'll reconnect with Ilo again, so please just bear with us. Just keep typing in your questions so we can take them. We have just about 10 minutes to end this conversation. We're waiting for him to come online. How do you handle it will soon be with us. So cyberbullying is why some people avoid social media. Okay. All right. Let's go to our questions now. You have two right now.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, how do you navigate? That's the reconciler company. She's asking,
LinkedIn.
how
How
do
do you
you
navigate
navigate LinkedIn? I know that's that's
To be honest,
that's
when
something that a
LinkedIn
lot of
first
people
came out,
don't understand.
LinkedIn was super complicated. Like LinkedIn was just super
Yeah, a
complicated.
lot of people. At some
But
point, I know I avoided it. I must say the
yeah,
truth, but
but so literally, LinkedIn is like a what would I call it now? Like a portal for networking, right? And the best way to navigate LinkedIn is to ensure that your profile, and this is where people miss it, right? Your profile on LinkedIn actually has to have enough information about you, because the very first thing we encounter, or the very first thing you encounter on LinkedIn, is your profile, right? If I come on LinkedIn, I'll see the description of just a base description of who you are right there on the option. And then when I click it, I have the chance to read your full profile. So whatever you've done, like LinkedIn is literally your CV as a social media
your profile.
profile.
Everything about you.
Your CV is your profile. So just put it there, right? And then obviously there's options of things that you are interested in, right? Ensure that you click those options. If you're into media, if you're into agriculture, whatever it is you're into, technology, click the options of the things that you're into. So it will now ensure that the kind of content or the kind of people that come across your page, or the kind of people whose page you come across, are people in that same line of business or in that same career or in that same field. So that way it's easier for you to network and link with people. And you can also post content on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, you can write articles and all of that relating to your field or what you know how to do best. You know,
exactly.
article writing is for everyone. You can just pick a topic within your industry and just write something about it.
Yeah, because to be honest, LinkedIn does not, just like every other social media app, LinkedIn helps you cut across borders. So you're not limited to only people in Nigeria or only people in Africa. You're like, it literally exposes you to all sorts of people from everywhere. Anybody can find you out. I've gotten some jobs off LinkedIn before, voiceover jobs, because I do voiceovers. I've gotten some voiceover jobs of LinkedIn. You understand? It connects you to different people. So yeah, that's literally just how to.
There's another thing I want to also talk about LinkedIn, which of course your advice in this area can also be of help. Okay. In terms of how do people get recommendation? You know?
Well, to get recommendations of LinkedIn, not YouTube, sorry, of LinkedIn, your the people, would I call them your friends? Yeah, people that you've added up to your network have to actually sort of the word is recommend those features of yours that you've highlighted. So if you highlight that you're take for example, producer, or you're a doctor, or a surgeon, or whatever it is that are the skill sets that you've highlighted, people have to endorse them. So the more people endorse those skill sets, the easier or the better your chances of getting recommendations and getting better opportunities, to be honest. And that's why LinkedIn would always notify you when people endorse your skills. When people are, oh, this guy endorsed you as a producer, this person endorsed you as a thingy. And it's also good for you to endorse other people. Do you understand? So it's like a scratch my back.
It's a mutual thing.
Yeah,
it's a mutual thing. Being kind. You have to be kind to others.
Yeah, exactly. Being kind. So you
so want that they can be kind to you. So set emotions apart and say the real thing. You know, I'll be happy to give you some recommendation on LinkedIn.
No problem, sir. Me too. The same way. I'll add you up on LinkedIn. In fact.
Yes, also be good to others so they can be good to you.
Simple. You know, correct.
Because some people, quite a lot of times, some people are just one-sided. It's just about how it affects them. You don't really
social media tends to make you selfish. To be honest, it tends to make you selfish. It tends to make you selfish. If you're not navigating it properly, you could lose yourself and just become some selfish person. So, yeah.
All right. To the second question, somebody says, social. Okay. There are three questions. I think the last one has been answered by Pastor today. Somebody is asking that. How do we handle social media self-esteem? I don't know if anything there like that exists.
I mean, low social media self-esteem is a big problem. It's a very, very, very big problem in social media. And to be honest, my advice for you might be a bit extreme. I don't know if you can take it. But the way I advise you to handle low social media self-esteem is to get off social media until you can build your self-esteem. Because if the thing that is causing you the problem is consistently and constantly in your face, you're never going to be able to battle that problem. So first of all, get off social media. Mute your apps, freeze them, delete them if you have to. I'm not saying delete your page. I'm not saying close your page, but delete the app. Or if you have the option to mute it, mute the app on your phone, right? Build your own self-esteem, because you see what you're calling low social media self-esteem is actually low self-esteem. Remove the social media. The problem is that when you take that self-esteem outside Instagram or outside Twitter, it will still be there. You will
So
still
that's
have it.
exactly what it's an inward thing.
Yeah. You will still have it in the interaction with people. So remove the social media, ignore it, build your self-esteem, right? From the kind of things you say to yourself, from how you look at yourself, from how you carry yourself.
Maybe if you
It's
get
not
a big
pride.
mirror now.
Yeah. It's you understand. So it's not pride though. Don't get me, don't mix it up with pride. It's not pride. It is literally learning to love yourself and grow yourself and better yourself. Because again, just like we had said earlier, you cannot give what you don't have. So if you don't have a strong self-esteem, if you don't have a strong sense of love for yourself, you won't know how to love other people, or how to be kind to other people, or how to be thoughtful, or how to be helpful. Like, those things will be far reach from you. So remove the social media, build your self-esteem. When your self-esteem is enough, then you can decide to get back on social media.
Thank you so much. It's an hour already. It's about 59 minutes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for this. This was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun.
A lot has been said. A lot has been said, and I'm sure it's been worth the time of our viewers also.
I mean, it's been worth my time too. I won't even lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's been worth my time. I've learned a lot of things that I have not heard before. So thank you so much for coming to us today to share, from your vast experience, what we need to know about social media, what we should do and what we shouldn't do, such that we don't end up in trouble in the future.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, with the entire Grace family, say a big thank you to you.
Well, thank you to the Grace family.
Very soon. When all of this is over, we're going to meet,
hopefully.
We have not seen it before.
By God's grace, I'll come
we connect. You see what social, I mean, the platform that social media has afforded us now is to be able to connect with people and make networks. You cannot walk this journey of life alone. You must, have the right connect with the right people, make healthy network, and you must also service that relationship. It's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. We are happy having you. We've been tremendous. We've learned, quite a lot from you today. I'll catch up with you some other time. Thank you so much. All right, thank you everyone for linking with us today. We still have so much more. I'm sure there are still programs that are scheduled on this series, and just stay close for updates on our social media platforms. We'll be rolling out our calendar as to the next series and who that will be coming on our program. We are certain that this has been an eye opener for someone, and for me, I've learned, like I said earlier. Thank you so much, and God bless you. I'll see you some other time. Till we see you again, remain blessed.